Hello everyone, I'm Len, and I just posted a video of my top 10 difficult and unanswerable questions in the spirit of why do clocks run clockwise? Here comes another one. What do you call a better than perfect chess performance? Well, it's called a brilliant performance. A brilliant move outranks the best known move. It's only assessed after it's been played and can never be proposed in advance. Or can it? If a move can't be proposed, that suggests there are limits to a person's intelligence, which begs the question, what if one or both players was omnipotent? Would it raise the bar even higher? Would it not even compute? Does the other side merely go down? Does it reduce the difficulty of the game to a beginner's match? Or is an omnipotent player not guaranteed to win? I find the discussion of professional chess intellectually stimulating. It's elegant, it's refined, even though I can't compete with the chess channels I'm subscribed to, either verbally or by playing the game, just as they don't compete with the highest grandmasters. There is always someone better you can look up to. So this is my contribution to the chess world. We're going to talk about a level of play that is higher than the highest rated chess games. Everything on my channel has to do with challenging conventional wisdom, because there are things people don't know exist on account that universities, the sciences, our intellectual role models don't know there's a level higher than academics, frankly because it's beyond them. Examples. Astronomy. What if I told you the field of astronomy has stalled in the past 20 years compared to its rapid progress in the 20th century? That telescopic astronomy should have gone to the wayside by now, and that presentations talking about the great mysteries of the universe are the same words magicians use to disguise the fact that our knowledge should be much more advanced than it is, and lower our expectations. And what if I told you the same was true of physics, where we've gone back to talking about Albert Einstein as a form of hero worship, instead of asking, where are his successors today? Einstein was a guy who could think outside of the times he was living in. Education. This textbook on critical thinking by 4 different authors becomes meaningless when someone who has no education performs better or more brilliantly than an academic. This lecture by the great Professor Marty Lobdell is called Study Less, Study Smart, about a student who has to choose between improving their scores or being expelled, because education is a two-way street. I mean, there's not 3 or 4 ways, right? What if I told you there is a need for delinquents to prosper? That low-grade students serve a purpose in the system they are using and should be retained on account that it's the only life they have. Medicine. If you own an exotic pet or even have an exotic medical condition yourself, you probably have a medicine cabinet and textbooks and belong to a Facebook group just for that. And when someone asks, what do I do about this problem I'm having? Someone always posts, go to a vet. Because if you don't know, the answer to everything is go to a vet. There is a better way than taking everything to designated professionals so that you don't have to know it. And that is if everyone in the room was well informed. The most common question a self-educated person is asked is, Would you trust a doctor who doesn't have a PhD? And the answer is, every professional as they get older starts to notice their fellow professionals keep getting younger, and you begin to see more mistakes and bias, and eventually you take your Osicat or pulmonary tinnitus to a doctor and you know more than he does. So people ask, how can you find fault with science or argue with academics? What is greater than empirical science? And the answer is omnipotence. That is the source of why a coworker advances in the workplace without having to do the training, because they had inside information. To which the response is, well, how can you be omnipotent? No one's 100% omnipotent. You're just a little bit omnipotent. And the easiest example I can give is a chessboard. If you think back to when you were a child learning to play for the first time, and the joy it gave you to find out you have control over all these little people. You know everything. We are their gods, as Jack London would say. So you know what a chess engine is. They rate human players and give a ranking for each move based on thousands of games. So what if two engines played each other and one or both of them was able to see the other engine's code and calculations on a screen? It would be like being able to read your opponent's thoughts. Now imagine you and a friend decide as an experiment to play a game in which your friend tells you in advance every move he's going to make and his whole strategy. Theoretically, you could play a better game than a game that's made entirely of the highest ranking moves. So what would the chess world make of such a match? I'm interested in hearing the thoughts of more experienced chess players than me. Here are some possible answers. It would be considered cheating. Players don't pass notes or give each other hand signals. Even if you were a mind reader, you would still know you're taking advantage of someone. The problem with this is you wouldn't say performance-enhancing drugs should be banned so that a pitcher can't throw the world's fastest pitch. Let's call this argument, "The cheater beat me," which is something like, "The anarchist was dishonest." It's easy to confuse exactly what the problem is, so let's try to separate those two things. So what if it goes against the spirit of playing? If your opponent has to be disadvantaged so that your performance can go up, would it be considered a mismatch? Competitors are paired by their rankings, so a player doesn't keep winning easy matches to rack up his score. It wouldn't be sporting, so the win serves no purpose. So let's say it's just a man versus machine contest, like John Henry versus the steam drill, or Watson on Jeopardy. Imagine if we had sort of a national hero in this country who is an inspiration for young girls, and she challenges Usain Bolt to a race, or Alex Honnold to climb El Capitan, or is invited to throw the first pitch at the World Series, or eat the world's hottest chili. Even though she's never done any of those things, she's just a freak of nature. What would a computer think an omnipotent performance is? Would it be mistaken for something else? Does it change the game, making it easier for you? You can't consistently play a game with just brilliant moves. They should be less and less required with each move. So it's not you that's advancing, it's the game that's going down. That's an interesting theory. Is omnipotence necessarily better? Could you go back in time, use your foreknowledge to play Magnus Carlsen, and still lose. An engine that ranks his adaptable moves higher than an average player with some kind of gift might not be wrong. If enough skill is obtainable to be an equalizer, you could say the computer analysis is all there is, and omnipotence is just in our minds. Unless ranking moves can be misleading. It's possible to play a technically low game and still win. The bar that goes up and down with your performance in some software can bounce around after a single move as the engine reconsiders whether it's a good or a bad move. People think of omnipotence as some kind of lofty, unattainable concept. Well, why not consider it part of the equation like everything else? Why not consider intelligence on the scale it actually is? Thank you for watching. I'm interested in your thoughts. Please post them in the comments below.